For those who have been eagerly waiting for a new addition to Fuji's X-Pro series, there's a bit of a twist coming their way. Rumors suggest that the next model in the series, possibly called the Fuji X-Pro4 or X-Pro6, has been delayed until 2026, and there won't be a Fuji X-Pro4. While this is still not officially confirmed by Fuji, it's becoming clear that the company is taking a bit longer to bring the next version of this popular rangefinder-style camera to market. The main factor behind the delay is the sales numbers of the X-Pro3. While the X-Pro2 was widely celebrated and the original X-Pro1 built the foundation for the series, the X-Pro3 didn't perform as well as expected. According to various reports and rumors from the Fuji community, the sales volume of the X-Pro3 was much lower than that of its predecessors. This could be a significant factor in Fuji's decision to postpone the launch of the next model and skip the X-Pro4 altogether. One of the reasons behind the X-Pro3's lackluster sales seems to be the camera's display design. Unlike many modern cameras that feature a fully articulated screen, the X-Pro3 went for a unique approach. The rear display was hidden by default and could only be revealed by flipping it downward. This design choice, meant to encourage a more traditional photographic experience, ended up alienating many potential buyers who were hoping for a more flexible, user-friendly display. In a market that's becoming increasingly focused on ease of use and versatility, Fuji's decision to go with such a quirky design for the X-Pro3 might have been a misstep. Many photographers found it more difficult to use, especially when shooting video or trying to frame shots at awkward angles. A tilt screen or fully articulating display would have made the X-Pro3 much more practical for a wider range of users, but unfortunately, Fuji opted for a fixed display with a hidden screen. The design of the X-Pro3's screen is considered by many to be the main reason behind its low sales numbers. The screen was touted as a feature that would inspire creativity and offer a more pure shooting experience, much like the Leica M11. However, in practice, it turned out to be more of a hassle than a convenience. Photographers, especially those used to quick access to their display, found it frustrating to have to flip the screen down to view images or change settings. For some, it felt like a step backward rather than an innovative leap forward. A lot of feedback from users suggested that the X-Pro3's display was not practical. Even at the time of its announcement, many potential buyers were hesitant about the design and expressed a preference for the more traditional fixed displays of Fuji's X-T series cameras. The X-T3 and X-T4, which have fully articulated displays, became the go-to option for many who wanted the classic Fuji look combined with modern usability. This feedback was loud and clear, and it seems that Fuji took note. While the X-Pro series has a strong following, it's clear that the design flaw with the X-Pro3's screen held it back from being as successful as its predecessors. The lesson for Fuji here is clear. A better, more practical display is needed if they want to capture the interest of today's photographers. With the failure of the X-Pro3 to meet sales expectations, it seems that Fuji is skipping the X-Pro4 entirely. This is a bit surprising, given that Fuji typically follows a consistent numbering pattern. However, it's possible that the company felt a need to make a larger jump in design and features to revive the X-Pro line. The naming of the next camera could go straight from the X-Pro3 to the X-Pro5 or X-Pro6, depending on when it launches and how Fuji decides to structure its model lineup. Skipping the X-Pro4 may be part of Fuji's larger strategy to redefine the X-Pro series in a way that better aligns with current market trends and consumer needs. While there's no official word yet on what the X-Pro5 or X-Pro6 will feature, Fuji will likely address the issues that caused the X-Pro3 to underperform. As for what the future holds, there are some potential features that photographers might want to see in the next X-Pro model. First and foremost, the display design is likely to be revamped. Fuji could go for a more traditional tilting or fully articulating screen, something that would cater to a broader audience while still maintaining the classic rangefinder aesthetics that the X-Pro series is known for. Another area that Fuji might focus on is the internal specs. The X-Pro4 featured a 26.1 megapixel X-Trans CMOS4 sensor, which was impressive at the time of its release, but the competition has since caught up. Fuji could very well upgrade the sensor to something even more powerful, perhaps using the latest X-Trans 5 sensor, which could improve both image quality and autofocus performance. In terms of video, Fuji has made significant strides with its XT series, and it would make sense for the X-Pro series to catch up in this department. We could see better video features, including 4K 60p recording and improved autofocus, which would make the X-Pro5 or X-Pro6 a more well-rounded tool for both photographers and videographers. Another potential upgrade could be the autofocus system. The X-Pro3 was a solid performer in this area, but as mirrorless cameras evolve, autofocus systems are becoming increasingly fast and accurate. A more advanced autofocus system, possibly with phase detection across the entire sensor, could make the next X-Pro model a more competitive option in the mirrorless market. One thing that many photographers appreciate about the X-Pro series is its simple, no-nonsense design. While Fuji has made great strides in making its cameras more user-friendly, the X-Pro series has always been about giving photographers a tool that encourages creativity. The next model in the series will likely continue this tradition, focusing on the essentials while adding just enough modern features to keep up with the times. While the delay of the X-Pro series and the lack of an X-Pro4 might be disappointing to some, it's clear that Fuji is taking its time to get things right. If the company learns from the mistakes of the X-Pro3 and delivers a model that improves upon the display design and incorporates the latest advancements in image quality and autofocus, the X-Pro5 or X-Pro6 could be a camera worth waiting for. The Fuji X-Pro series has always been known for its unique design and user-focused features. But the X-Pro3's underwhelming sales have forced Fuji to rethink the future of this line. With no X-Pro4 in sight and the next model likely arriving in 2026, Fuji is likely taking the time to fix the issues that held the X-Pro3 back. A more practical display, better autofocus, and improved video features are just some of the things we might expect from the X-Pro5 or X-Pro6. If Fuji can get it right, the X-Pro series could once again become a favorite among photographers looking for something different. So what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.